Hello, everybody. This is Jim from Augusto, and today we're going to have a little fun with AI. I'm going to show you how we can combine a couple tools, Heygen for video avatars, Nathan for workflow, and Appify for web scraping. And we're going to create a virtual version of myself that's going to read the top news stories. We'll fetch some headlines from the news, we'll generate a video, and we will build a fun AI-powered news summary. So there's a lot of reasons you could do this, but I think one of the benefits of it is being able to take yourself and repurpose communications. So first, let's talk about the tool Heygen. Heygen is a tool that allows you to record yourself and it turns out to be an avatar. So I'm going to take a moment and just show the sample that I did. Hey, Jim Augusto, your hyper-realistic avatar is ready. Try creating videos with it. Also, click the feedback button to share what you think. Hope you enjoy. Now I did that video in a 2-minute stretch. I uploaded it. You can see my previous one here was a little different as well. Second, we're using a tool to scrape the news. We're using a tool called Appify, and it's a web scraping platform. It has lots of features for web scraping, but in this case, we're just going to be grabbing two newsletters that I really enjoy. One's called The Morning Brew, and the other is called IT Brew. So we'll be using an actor inside of Appify, and we're going to do what's called a website content crawler. We'll be crawling again the Morning Brew and the IT Brew. Maybe later I'll put a link in here that you guys can go to get those newsletters if you're not subscribed. So what this will do, it will crawl the site, pull down the news, and we'll utilize it. And then the last thing we're using is Nathan, which is Nathan.io. We're running it here in our environment, but let me walk you through what we'll be doing. So I'll end up executing this workflow manually, but there's no reason you couldn't have this run daily, executed on some time frame. Let's say every Tuesday morning, go gather up all the news and bring you back a summary of you talking to yourself or sharing it with others. So in this particular case, I'll be going to Appify. I'll be contacting it through an API. This will call it and get the two things you saw earlier, the Morning Brew and IT Brew, and it will pull back that data. It'll then use AI in what's called a script writer. So let's take a look at what we call this here. Now I borrowed this from somebody, but it starts this way. The prompt from the system is you're a Morning Brew and IT Brew video recap script generator. You're a sharp, engaging scriptwriter and who specializes in converting daily newsletters into fast-paced, digestible recap. This is great because it's going to take a full text and it's going to generate down to 10 and 20 seconds of script. And that's a certain amount of words, and it's going to pull out the most important stories, right? So AI here is going to be selecting what it believes is important and bring it back. Core requirements, I want a single paragraph written for spoken delivery. I don't want it to be robotic, and I do want some slight pauses. It's going to have 2 to 4 topics with the most impact and the highest interest. Again, the AI agent's going to determine that, and then use a punchy conversational tone, but be brief. And then lastly, with the style, I gave an example here of stocks jumped. In fact, I borrowed this from somebody who has done this earlier. And then lastly, prioritize clarity and relevance. So avoid these niche stories go viral. Now, I could also add in here, focus on AI or some other element, but this is what I started with. So let's jump out of here. Let me escape. Back to our workflow. In the workflow, it'll generate the video, and it's gonna, when I go back into this, it's going to use, I have some inputs. It's gonna use the video that you saw me produce right here, and then it's actually gonna use a voice. My voice was also recorded. And then after that's done, it's going to go into what's called a loop. It's going to wait. It's going to keep trying until that video is done. This video generation is going to take about 10 minutes, depending on how much news there is out there. And lastly, it will send me an email. So I'm going to execute this. And as it goes, you're going to see quickly, it's going to run the news. And then from the news, it will go down to the script writer. I will move us there once we are completed with it. While it's running, I went back to Appify and went in here, and you can see that this website content crawler is actually running right now. So if I were to go look at it, if I go back, I'm curious if I can see the runs. Yep, it's actually going through and running right now, and you can see the rough cost of these requests. Now, the process worked. You can see it pulled out the news, and from the crawler, what we got from Appify is it dumped out kind of the title, the Morning Brew. It had some links. Here's the context of what was in there. And that was what's passed over to generate the video. You can see it got its output. It pulled July 1st, that's today, and it pulled the summary in, and it's going to run the script against that. The script writer took all that in and it delivered an output. So we're going to wait for that video to be generated. I will come back. All right, we're back. The video ran. It looked like it took 8 turns. So it was probably about 8 minutes that this completed, and it sent me an email. In that email, I got 2 things, one of which was a thumbnail. Here's a thumbnail of the video. 2 is the actual video. So before I run this video for everybody to see, I just want to go back. Here's the morning brew. It grabbed, one of the topics is July 1st. It's the Bobby Vanilla's payout and different headlines across the country. So let's go look at the video. July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day, celebrating the retired MLB star's $1.19 million annual check from the Mets, a clever financial deal from 2000. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 just wrapped its best quarter since 2023, buoyed by hopes of Fed interest rate cuts. And in coffee news, Luckin Coffee just launched in the US, posing a serious challenge to Starbucks. There we go. So you can see the power of AI. You notice that I probably need to redo my avatar. It looks like I got some space in the width. In this particular case, I used my MacBook to record instead of my Logitech camera. Hope you enjoyed this. Shows the power of AI and workflow.